My whole life, I've been told that I walk a little too fast, and guess what? That's not changing today, because I'm so excited to talk to this guy right here, our men's national team reporter, Matthew Scianitti, in studio. From the sidelines of the 112th Grey Cup, back on the men's national team.
A lot hotter in here, man. Oh, it was cold in Winnipeg, but it was awesome. It was so good.
Jay does not like it hot, so he doesn't want to hear that. But good time in Winnipeg? Great week?
Awesome. And you know what? Riders fans, man, when they win, they know how to party. It was a heck of a time.
Even as someone who grew up in Hamilton, who obviously cheers for a certain team. No, but you admire, the Riders, 100%. Right? And you can feel good about them.
And you know what? The way that they won by getting that fumble on the goal line, I don't mean to say it, but heartbreak really has a home in Hamilton. Like it used to be the Riders who'd feel that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it was one of those moments to see how much it meant to Corey Mays, to see how much it meant to Trevor Harris, and winning his first as a starter. Storybook. It was awesome.
Let's go from the football field to the pitch. Canada gets the win. They get some offense, and they get their newest player on the field, Alfie Jones, who passed the citizenship test or took his oath. We'll forget about the hockey questions there, but a kind of a weird debut for him because he plays with a couple different center backs and then they go down to 10 men. What do you take away from his performance?
I think it worked out perfectly for him in this respect. Alfie Jones plays for Middlesbrough in the English Championship, the second division team there. They're near the top. So a competition like Venezuela would not have necessarily been too intense for him. But to see the way he was playing, very businesslike. Championship defenders are physical. Their job is to clear the ball, to clean situations up, and he did that. And when Derek Cornelius went off with what we're hearing is a lower body injury, as you said, he shifts over. And now there is a debate. We love having debates, especially on Park the Bus every Tuesday. You can now see him legitimately, potentially, in the debate for, is he going to start next alongside a healthy, potentially Moise Babito? And that for me adds a wrinkle. And Jesse Marsh has wanted this. Put more competition. That's why he's recruiting these guys. Bring them into the national team so it gives him options. Alfie Jones had the second most touches tonight. Didn't look out of place. Again, against an opponent that he wouldn't have been too nervous at all against. I think he played pretty well and comported himself pretty well.
And we were kind of talking about it in the green room. These last few games, there maybe is a blessing in disguise with the injuries. Just that you look at the depth and you look at the opportunities that players are getting, like Richie Laryea, who's been great. And it's another great game where he gets the assist on the goal, draws a red card. I guess this is a good problem to have, but he plays the same position of Alphonso Davies, who we all expect to come back at some point. Where do we go from here once Davies comes back?
Richie Laryea, and I know I'm echoing something that Kevin Coban has said and Stephen Caldwell has said and Jimmy Brennan has said. He needs to be playing when Canada opens the World Cup in mid-June. Because this goes back to, I believe it was a CONCACAF Nations League final when Richie Laryea wasn't available. And Jesse Marsh said to me, we don't only miss him, and you could see the way, I mean, he kind of, in a way, instigates that red card, perhaps, but he brings not only an energy in his emotions, but he's constantly on the ball. He had the most touches tonight. And from his position, wide out on the left, defensively, mind you, as well, he's always involved in the play. And that is something that Jesse Marsh loves about Richie Laryea. He not only is he going to give everything he has emotionally, he's going to give everything he has physically. And we talk about Alphonso Davies. When Alphonso Davies comes back, it now presents a particular possibility. Do you put Alphonso Davies further forward? Because you know you have Richie Laryea, who is not only going to do the job for you defensively, but will also proceed forward offensively when there's those opportunities. If there's one thing that Jesse Marsh will take out of this window, particularly with Richie Laryea, is that he knows he can rely on him, and it might present more opportunities to change the lineup and alter it when those healthy players like Alphonso Davies come back.
Right, and we see him training now with Bayern Munich. This was their last match of 2025. There's 2 more international windows, but we don't see them play again now until March. So it's a pretty long stretch here. What should we be keeping our eye on when it comes to this Canadian men's national team?
18 weeks is a long time, and we will know the World Cup opponents, which is key. And I've watched Jesse Marsh and his coaching staff go through film of every single opponent, and they have told me time and again, it's all prep for them to prep for their opponents come the World Cup. And who their opponents are is very important because the form of the players that are on the men's national team right now in the moves they have made, particularly over the last summer, we're talking about Taniel Owashei, we're talking about Jonathan David. Certainly those 2 players, Jonathan David in particular, has had some problems, or not problems, but certainly is under the microscope with how he's acclimating at Juventus. But then you're also looking at the players who might move, and that could be Ali Ahmed, and the situation we talked about constantly in the goalkeeping rank of Canada, which is Maxime Crépeau wants to move, Dane St. Clair. I would be surprised if he moved, given the situation that he has at Minnesota United, but he could move, the MLS goalkeeper of the year. And then we again talk about injuries and the players coming back and being healthy. Alistair Johnston coming back, and how does he recover from that hamstring injury and the surgery that he had? Moise Babito. Everyone who is coming to know his Canadian men's national team keeps on hearing about the legend of Moise Babito. Well, we go back to Copa America, and you see their run to the semifinals. So much of the work that was done there was because of the talent that Moise Babito has, who pairs with him in defense. But crucially, and you have to repeat it, Alphonso Davies. There are so few players in the world that provide the talents and speed that Alphonso Davies does from the left side of the field. But when he comes back healthy, knowing the way that Richie Laryea has been playing, what does that do for Alphonso Davies? Do you play him further forward? Does Jesse Marsch trust him enough to be offensive on the left side while also having his defensive responsibilities, working potentially in tandem with Richie Laryea? So many possibilities, but these 18 weeks now are critical for everything that's not going on when you talk about friendlies, because once they get back at the end of March, 4 games is all they have before the World Cup.
Yeah, I can't wait for these matches to start really counting for this team.
Well, that's why I'm here off the plane from Winnipeg.
That's right. And we joked how busy you are, and I would say you get a nice little vacation here, but guess what? We need you in Washington.
World Cup draw, baby.
Which it's said to a lot of people, but in your case, you need to be at the World Cup draw.
I can't wait. This is going to be a lot of fun.
We'll have it for you here on TSN Friday, December 5th, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.